are self-governing. The Clean Air Act required 22.5 billion gallons of biofuel to be added to the nation's fuel supply this year, but the EPA used its waiver authority to lower the standard. Either Congress made the law and that's their will, or it's not. You don't get to just, EPA isn't one of these, well, they are a unelected, unaccountable entity that they can just decide to, the EPA agents have guns now. Some of them have guns. Can you believe that? Yeah, they're going to freeze, you gas hog, or I'll blow a hole in you. Can you imagine that? EPA agents running around trying to catch people who, what do we got going? The big scandal is the VW thing. I think it's smart. I think it's hilarious. You have VW who well, they kind of got caught, I guess. Who made they had some very slick, smart engineers and programmers. Now, I can't believe that this is a rogue act on anybody's part at VW. I'm not buying it. Somebody in charge at VW had to put this whole thing into scenario. But I guess I shouldn't probably push that too much because there are people who might be listening and think the same thing. But let me just put it this way. It wasn't an accident that VW had this program that could sort emissions testing. I just thought it was brilliant. Look, when you have all this stuff that government is foisting on its people that is costing the person, the people, the citizen, an extraordinary amount of money out of their pocket just so they can pursue their happiness, I think it is every other citizen's duty to disrupt that government and their ability to overly process and overly run your lives. You have that right to be not bullied by your government. Now, the EPA said officials believe that the new standard will require more production of gasoline with 5% and 10% ethanol to match higher demand as gas prices stay low. So that's the other thing. Gas prices are too low. They want to make them higher. The only problem is that when gas prices go back on the rise, notice they don't cut. Hey, let's raise the tax on a gallon of gas because it's so cheap. But they don't cut the price of the tax once the gas prices get up there again. They don't lower them. It's all about taking money out of your pocket. Look, there is a tremendous, I know we hear this all the time. Bernie Sanders is out there talking about it constantly. This massive transfer of wealth. And yeah, I know what he's talking about. The 1% are getting all the money, man. Well, there is a massive transfer of wealth that is happening right now. And it is the government taking the money out of every American's pocket and sticking it in their own pocket. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, government can't be putting money in their pocket, Rod. Yes, they can. And each individual officer, yes, they can, and they have, and they do. Plain and simple. What we're seeing and what the RFS is intended to push is increased use of those fuels and increased availability of those fuels. But those fuels are useless, worthless, and they only serve to do two things. Raise the price and raise the price. Raise the price of gasoline and raise the price of corn futures. That's what it does. Doesn't help out. Doesn't make the still getting CO2 in the atmosphere and not making it cleaner. It's not making the planet any cleaner. In fact, because you have to grow more. I think it's kind of interesting that we have all these wonderful people, even in this country, who are starving. They're starving. Oh, the kids are starving. People are starving, man. And we're taking a humongous annual yield out of our corn supplies and making fuel to make our cars go out of it. That seems like it's pretty fair, huh, liberals? When I saw these two stories come across my newsfeed, I was a little bit angry. But I already knew the numbers to this. But here's one from CNS News story. CDC reports 76.4% of aborted babies in New York City are black or Hispanic. 76.4% of aborted babies in New York City are black or Hispanic. Whatever happened to Black Lives Matter? Sorry, you Latinos. No, man, you didn't have a Latino man's Latino Lives Matter, man. No. The latest abortion surveillance report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which was published last Friday but covers the year 2012, shows that New York City, 76.4% of the abortions reported by race were of black and Hispanic babies. Now, if you don't think that there is a genocide going on right now, and don't tell me, well, it's Black Lives Matter, and it's white privilege, Rod. It's just this white privilege that keeps going. No, it's evil liberal idiocy that is leading to this. Liberals, with their double standards, with their illogic, with their crazy stupidity. Now, the data from the CDC shows that there were 699,000 abortions reported to the CDC in 2012 from 47 states in the District of Columbia. California, Maryland, and New Hampshire did not report their abortion numbers to the CDC. Now, why California didn't? I know why, because, hey, it'd be like proving that you're a murderer. I don't know why Maryland and New Hampshire didn't. Don't know. I'll have to ask my state why they're not participating in this. The CDC also got the numbers from New York City broken down by race: white, black, Hispanic, and other. If you're not white, black, or Hispanic, you're other. If you're white, black, and Hispanic, well, you don't put that down. You just put other. If you're white but not black but Hispanic, other. Maybe you're Latino. Well, that's not a race, but black and Hispanic. No, that's another. Latino, yeah, other. You just said that, Rod. Latino, yeah, that's an other. Blasian. What's a Blasian? That's black and Asian. Notice how there's nothing in here for Asian. White, black, Hispanic, and other. No Asian. Asians are more than half the population of this planet. And yet, it says other. Nothing like pissing off 3 billion people by calling them an other. Yeah, how about that? In total, there were 70,997 abortions in New York City in the year 2012. 70,000. Do you realize 70,000 people? That is about 3 times the size of the town that I used to live in called Keene, New Hampshire. It is about 2.5 times the size of Concord, New Hampshire, the capital of New Hampshire. It is about 15,000 people less shy of the numbers in a town called, or a city called, Nashua, New Hampshire. So in other words, New York City has aborted a large town, murdered a large town worth of people back in 2012. Among those abortions, 31.3% were black. 31,328 were black, which is 44%. 22,900 were Hispanic. That's 44 and 32%, respectively. That equals about 54,245 abortions, or 76.4% of the total number of abortions in New York City in 2012. There were also 9,700 white babies aborted, 13.7, and 7,048 other babies aborted in New York City in 2012. And people say, well, Rod, we know it's okay for abortion. It's a women's health issue. No, I think it's a baby's health issue when you start aborting whole cities on an annual basis. Think about that. You're aborting an entire city. Whole city. And these are permanent. These are lives that are not coming back, obviously. It's not like, oh, hold on, do over, reset. No, there is no rewind. But we're told over and over again, this is just, this is about women's health issues, Rod. It's women's health. 76.5% of all babies aborted in 2012 in New York City were of brown babies. Listen to you, Black Lives Matter. 55.5% of all babies aborted in New York City in 2012 were black. Now, I got to ask, I don't know how you're out there talking about, well, this white cop shot this black guy when you got doctors of all skin colors pulling out babies from their mommy's womb simply because the mother decided that she didn't want to go through what? The bother and the pain of childbirth? Give me a break. 55%. I guess Margaret Sanger was on to something. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda, Margaret Sanger is the founder of Planned Parenthood. And her whole objective was to curtail and rein in the black population. Well, when you have more babies being aborted than born, I guess you can start to say that you're a little bit of a success. I mean, how redonkulous or ridiculous is that to have that many people aborted? Miami Herald. A county ethics commission sues Hialeah mayor for trying to pay a $4,000 fine with pennies. I kid you not. The mayor, Carlos Hernandez. You won't believe what the ethics commission and the city council is demanding. The commission is demanding of this mayor, and we will get to that as soon as we get right back. Hang in there, folks. We're not done.